All right, let's get things started. Yeah, no, I tagged the guy. I don't know. He's in a status. I don't know. We don't have to go about what the status is. It's a status used for doing notations or what have you. So this is a guy that doesn't usually take a lot of time to do his notes or whatever. So I message him, and then I send him another message, and then I tag him because he's not responded. It's this is 10 minutes since the first message. And then he responds to the one where I tag him, to get his attention. He's like, "Oh, sorry, man, I fell asleep." I'm just like, "You son of a bitch! I'm just looking to get out of here. I could have been out of here 10 minutes ago. I could have been out of here right at 12:01. This stream could already be halfway over right now, but instead, the good Lord had different plans for us tonight, Sage. He wanted us to be up late, and you've got to get your little pre night sleep in. Well, I've got to get up early. Nathan's making me get up at fucking for 10:30. For 10:30, I gotta be up, and I'm having a couple drinks tonight. I'm celebrating. The start of my weekend. So tomorrow might be a real ugly stream. We're gonna get to it here in a bit. We're gonna break down 3 games. I don't think it'll be super in depth. I've got to get up at fucking 10 in the fucking morning to do a fucking Valheim stream. Do I make myself queer, Sage? Do I make myself clear, Sage? You're fucking right, I do. Am I looking forward to it? Nope. Because then I got to stay awake, watch the Jets Steelers game, the Packers Lions game. Then I got to watch the motherfucking other game there, the Bills Ravens. Then I got to do another stream. Then I got to make sure I'm fucking still, toxicated by the time tomorrow rolls around. I don't know how I'm going to get through it. I think I'm in big, big trouble over here. But we'll see. We'll see how I do. I told Nathan to give me a call if I'm not there, to call me, because I might just tell Alexa to fuck off when that alarm goes off. And that'd be completely understandable. I think any normal person would do it. Before we get to the football, though, let's get to the Blue Jays. And guess what the Blue Jays did a lot of today? And that's not hit the ball. They had 5 hits today. Vlad staying hot, though. Vlad was 2 for 4. Didn't drive a run in. We lost 3-1 to the fucking New York Yankees. Fuck the Yankees. We're now 82-60. I believe the Red Sox did lose. So if we kind of look at that, we're 4.5 up on the Red Sox. Gotta win tomorrow. Gotta win tomorrow. And gotta win tomorrow. I'll check the schedule, see who's pitching. It's probably an unfavorable matchup for us if I'm doing the math. And I tend to do the math, the Fibonacci math, and I tend to get it correct. But let's keep going through the box score. I got a little distracted there. Bo Bichette was 1 for 3. I think he had a shin injury that had our mother up in arms a bit, but he's fine. He had a walk as well. He's up to a 311 batting average, 840 OPS. Varsho 0 for 3. Lucas 0 for 3. Kiner Falefa. Must be his debut. He was 1 for 4 with our only RBI. Go figure. No home runs were hit. Vlad did have his 32nd double of the year, though. Bichette, his 44th double of the year. It's a lot of doubles for Bo Bichette. Holy fuck. Chris Bassett, he wasn't that bad today, if this is all true. Looks like some runs were scored on an error. Now, I do not know who made the error. Now, I do know who made the error. It looks like Vladimir Guerrero made his 9th fielding error of the year. And that's what led to us letting 2 runs. Does not specify what inning it is. Well, I can find that out by scrolling up. Would have been in the 2nd inning. Well, you can't be making errors, especially if you're a fucking first baseman. We don't ask you to do anything, Vlad. What the hell, man? What the fuck? Anyways, Bassett was good. No earned runs in 5 innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, and only 3 strikeouts. ERA is south of the 4 ERA equator. Louis Varland wasn't very good in the bullpen. 1 earned run in an inning and a third. Brendan Little, 3 strikeouts. Got 4 outs. Hey, he was pretty fucking good today. Brendan Little was good, Sage. Hey, he's dialing it back. He knows that you're sending him a big fuck you, and he's sending you a big fuck you back. How's that feel, Sage? You've been served a plate of humiliation by Brendan Little. Uriel Rodriguez closed out the game. He had a No earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and 1 in the third inning. Sage is now telling us to hold the phones, to cancel the release papers. He may be looking to keep Brendan Little after all. You know, how things can change really quickly when you're a bullpen arm. You know what I mean? Let's take a look at the schedule for tomorrow, see who's pitching. Again, I suspect it's not going to be a game that we are going to win. Yeah, like I suspected, we've got Max Scherzer going up against Max Fried. We're going to lose that game. Guaranteed we'll lose that game. So we'll be 2 games back of the Yankees after tomorrow. And, not a whole lot of games left. So that's going to suck. But, yeah, I'm pretty confident the Yankees will win tomorrow. All right, I'm going to take a quick look. I'm not looking for NBA news or anything like that. Just going to take a quick look at rotoworld.com. And I'll check the comments. Then we're going to get to the football. And I'll make, I'll make a prediction one way or the other for every game. But I'm not going to go too crazy about it. It does look like Cam Hayward and the Pittsburgh Steelers have agreed to a reworked contract. It looks like he could potentially earn $3 million in incentives this year, so he was a little disgruntled. Well, now he's gruntled. That's very good. The Detroit Lions signed wide receiver Jameson Williams to a 3-year, $83 million extension. It's got $67 million guaranteed, and it's worth up to $83 million total. They've given a lot of money away the last few years. I saw a tweet by Adam Schefter recently kind of showing how much money they've been tossing around. Well, hopefully you get enough money to keep to sign your fucking big edge rusher there, Aiden Hutchinson. But we'll see. We'll see how they do that. But let me just read. This is what the last 2 off seasons. The extensions for the Lions have been Jameson Williams 3 years up to 83, Jared Goff 4 years $212 million, Amon St. Brown 4 years $120.01 million. Penei Sewell, 4 years, $112 million. Kirby Joseph, 4 years, $85 million. Aleem McNeil, who will not play this year, 4 years, $97 million. And Taylor Decker, 3 years, $60 million. And I think he's a little banged up too. So we'll go over the injuries and stuff soon. But yeah, Detroit's throwing a lot of money around, trying to get out front of those contracts. Unlike Dallas, who tends to go the other way. We've got a death today. We've got Ken Dryden, former Montreal Canadiens, dead at the age of 78. I'd say rest in peace, but he's a Canadiens. He was a Canadian. So we're not going to show respect as Leafs fans. I'm just joking, people. Hold the fucking phone. Calm the fuck down. Rest in peace, Ken Dryden. Wasn't a fan of yours, but, don't have anything against you. All right, let's check the comments before we get into football. Are we going to start making some sprinkles and betting? Well, how about... Well, we're going to use a little DraftKings tonight. DraftKings are our official sponsor. If you want that ghost pick there, you want to lose a leg. No, I'm just joking. But we're going to use DraftKings, and I'll go through, cover the spread or whatever, and I'll go through who I think will win the game. If I'm not confident, we'll go through it. You tell me how confident you feel in my picks. I'll go live with this shit. Bet365 can suck my dick. They're not paying me anything yet. A separate video on just better predictions. People search that shit up. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be part of the show every week. It's going to be a part of the Saturday program. And Sage says Bet365 can burn in hell. Sage says I'm betting my PC setup on the Titans tomorrow. If I'm not around for a while, that's my why. Oh, Sage, no. Don't. We'll get to it. I'll tell you if it's a good bet or not. I'll tell you if it's a good bet. All right. Actually, before we get into the betting, let's just kind of go over. We're not going to go over the whatchamacallit, OJ's Juicery tonight because nothing has changed. Let's go over Pete Rose Bowl Cut, and let's just take a look at the scores in the second round of the playoffs. We've got this stud, this absolute monster. This Brock Lesnar of a man, he's up 15-0 entering the last day of the first week. The Rodfather up 15-0. You got Tommy Callahan cowering right now. We've got an 8-8 draw right now. I know he's backed into a corner. We'll see how he is. Is he wincing? Or is he going to come out chucking Hail Marys at her mother's forehead? You got Dan down 11-4 to Vlad the Impalers, and you got Orange Juicy Fruit up 13-3 to Graham's great team. There you have it. That's the Pete Rose Bowl cut. Let's get into the games. Should I start with the ones that are more in-depth or just an overall viewpoint, and then the 3 games I'm going to watch, go into those in more depth after? You guys tell me. Edit the bets into shorter form. I don't do editing. That's the thing about me. You'll never catch me editing. I never will edit. Sage could edit if Sage wants to edit. But by the time this comes out, I would have to do my bets earlier in the week. So Sage wants a precise breakdown of all games. All right, so let's start with the ones that are generic. The games that I won't be watching tomorrow. Let's start with that. All right. You've got the Cincinnati Bengals on the road to the Cleveland Browns. Now, Cincinnati is favored to win by more than 6. It's a -5.5 spread. I like the Bengals to cover that spread, but apparently they're 1-11 in their first 2 games since Zach Taylor's been their coach. They had a good preseason. A lot of people are talking Joe Burrow up. I'm still taking the over. Not the over, but I'm taking them to cover the spread tomorrow. I don't care. It's the fucking Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco fucking sucks. The Bengals will definitely win the game. Will they cover the 6? I don't know. I don't know, but I think they will. So that's what I'm going with there. You've got the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders. I said this last year about C.J. Stroud. I'm going to say it again about Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to have a sophomore, what do they call it, a sophomore slump. I do expect a sophomore slump. I'm not sure about their pass rush. And you know what? I think the Giants have maybe the best defensive line in the game. I'm taking the Giants to cover 6, and I suspect Washington will win a close one. So again, I think Washington will win the game, but I think the Giants are going to keep this one below 6. So that's what I believe. They've got the best defensive line in the game, in my opinion. If you don't believe me, look them up. Look up the Giants' defensive line. You know what? I'll do it for you. Since you guys don't believe me, let's look up the New York Giants defensive line. I know they've got they got Abdul Carter. They've got Brian Burns. They've got that other motherfucker there, Dexter. Let me just see who their fucking team is right now. I'm not functioning at this hour. Dexter Lawrence. And then they got Calvin Thibodeau. Like, they've got some fucking good defenders in that front 4. It's too bad they couldn't keep fucking the guy that went to the Packers, Xavier McKinney. But let's move on from them. Again, Giants to cover 6, Commanders to win a close one. You got Arizona favored to win by -6.5. Arizona will definitely beat the New Orleans Saints. Let's not kid ourselves. And I think it's an easy cover. I think Arizona is a tremendous team with tremendous upside. Don't be surprised if they win their division this year. I actually think they might be better than the San Francisco 49ers, who people have at a betting line of 10.5 wins. People are projecting, the odds makers think, that the San Francisco 49ers are going to win one more game than the Packers. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that noise. Their secondary is questionable for the Giants, I agree. But having a front 4, you don't need a great secondary. Let's not kid ourselves. Now, I'll go into more detail as to why I think the Jets are going to lose at home to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, it's supposed to be a low-scoring game. Very weird odds. They have over-under for points, 37.5. And then they've got Pittsburgh favored to win by 3. If they win by 3, that's a push. That'll be a tie. I think Pittsburgh will win by 3 or more. I'll go into more reasoning why after. You got Tampa Bay on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, they added to their defensive line this year. They added some edge rushers. They added some pressure. I just think that Baker Mayfield's going to be a lot better than Michael Penis, and I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Bucks here. It's a -1.5. It's a division game. I think Tampa will win by 2 or more. That's just what I'm saying. I really do believe in Baker Mayfield. Now, here's an interesting game to me. You've got Carolina on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville is favored to win by 4 or more points. I'm taking Carolina to cover, and you know what? I might even take Carolina to win that game as an underdog. They played very good down the stretch last year with Bryce Young. I don't know all their additions and subtractions. I know they lost Adam Thielen, but I'm taking Carolina here to cover at the very least, and I think they can squeak out a win. Jacksonville's not that great, in my opinion. They're probably getting boosted up a little bit because of this Travis Hunter bullshit or what have you. I really like Carolina here. If you're looking for an underdog pick just to throw a fucking couple bucks at and make some money, it might not pan, but you don't have to pair it with anything. So you don't need to hope for anything else to pan for you. I like it. Yeah, I get it. Jaguars, I mean, they're favored to win for a reason, but I like how Bryce Young played last year. I really like how he played down the stretch. It's a good combo. They still got that idiot with the long hair throwing the ball, though. So, there is that. I'm saying, Jacksonville probably wins the game, but 3.5 is not an easy cover. 3.5 is not an easy cover. I think it'll be a close game. I can see a 23-20 win for either side. That's the way I kind of see it. That's kind of the score I see too. They're not gonna be lighting up the fucking scorecard, in my opinion. You got the Miami Dolphins as underdogs against the Indianapolis Colts at home. The Colts have Danny Dimes as their starter, Daniel Jones. They're favored to win by 1.5 points or more. I don't know. This is a game where I'll say I don't know. It's pretty much a pick-em matchup. To me, it comes down to how is Tua going to play. I don't think the Dolphins are good. I think that the Colts are a better team. But if Tua plays good, then I think that the Dolphins will win. Potentially a good minor underdog to bet on, but it's not going to be a major one. You're not going to make a bunch of money off it or anything like that. Sage thinks the Dolphins, says fuck the Colts. Sage says that it's not Trevor Lawrence's fault, that he fucking sucks. Whose fault is it? I guess maybe his parents' fault for giving him weak genes, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, it's a game that anything could happen here. You've got the Raiders going on the road against the Patriots. Okay. So the Patriots are favored to win by 2.5 or more. I know Patriots have Christian Gonzalez on the IL. And again, I haven't looked through the injuries and all this stuff, so, I'm not researching this stuff, 24/7 or anything like that. I kind of like the Patriots to win the game. Do I know if they'll cover or not? No. But, 2.5 isn't a crazy amount to cover, so it's certainly possible, in my opinion. Sage thinks that they're going to come to play hard with Mike Vrabel. So there you go. Sage is a believer in the New England Patriots. Now here is the second game of a week that's favored by -8.5. The first being Dallas and the Eagles. And that didn't pan. The -8.5 did not pan. Now, I certainly do believe that Denver is going to win the game. They possibly are going to cover. Do I feel extremely confident that they're going to beat the Tennessee Titans by 9 points or more? No, I do not. I don't see a spot where Tennessee wins the game. They're not necessarily a bad team to bet on if you're just looking for like a couple dollars and, on the money line. But Denver will win it. I have no idea if they'll cover it. 9 points is a lot. It can go either way. They very well could. They are a very good team in my opinion. And they are in Denver. Sage makes a good point. They are in Denver as well. So I have a feeling they might cover. But Tennessee doesn't need to win that game. They're just looking to, I don't know. They're just looking to build up something a bit, right? Start building a culture. All right, you've got the next game. 49ers as overdogs against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's at home. San Fran's supposed to win by 1.5 points. So basically, two or more points they need to win by. Christian McCaffrey, we know he's been injured with a calf injury. He'll probably tear his Achilles soon. I don't know. I do not think San Fran is as good as people think. This game's going to go either way. These division games like this can go either way. I think it's a good bet. I don't know who's going to win this game. I have no idea whatsoever. This could go either way. Is Darnold going to be close to what he was last year? If the answer is yes, Seahawks win this game without a problem. If he's not what he was last year, then the Niners win the game. Now, I feel like if I'm betting, I'm going to bet on the money line, and I'm going to probably put it on Seattle. But that's just me. I don't really give a fuck. You got the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Packers are at home, favored to win by 1.5. I do trust the Packers to get the win with the addition of Micah Parsons, but we'll get into that a little deeper later. Houston on the road to face the LA Rams. Rams favored to win by 3 or more. I kind of like taking Houston not only to cover the +3, but I like Houston to win this game outright. Matthew Stafford's been dealing with a back injury all offseason. I actually think that I think Houston's going to win outright. There's a good underdog pick for you guys. If you're looking for a good underdog, put money on the Houston Texans. And this is where it gets a little crazy. You've got Baltimore on the road against Buffalo. Now that's a heavyweight fight right there if I've ever seen one myself. That reminds me of the great Floyd Mayweather going up against Mike Tyson next year. That's the kind of heavyweight tilt this reminds me of. Ravens are projected to win by 2 or more. I kind of agree with it. I think that the Ravens... We'll break it down a bit more because this is one of the 3 we're going to break down a bit more. There is some injuries, though, so I might change my mind on this, but gut feeling, I think the Ravens will win. Could be completely fucking wrong. I might change my mind after, too. You've got the Vikings on the road against the Chicago Bears, favored to win at -1.5. To me, this should be a pick'em game. I can see the Vikings taking a big step back this year with J.J. McCarthy. They don't have Jordan Addison as well, who's suspended. I don't know, he got drunk or something. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? But, Vikings, talent-wise, should win the game. So I like the Vikings as a pick'em. I don't necessarily trust to win by 2 or more. And I think the Bears could potentially win that game, too. But if you got a gun to my fucking head and you're like, make a pick, I'm going to say Vikings to win by 2 or more. So that's my pick there. Let's take a look at the comments. Then let's break down the big games there, the big 3 for tomorrow that I will be watching and then breaking down after hours. Sage says he's just hoping for a good game for Cam. That's all you really should be hoping for this year. 49ers are going to be hurting on wide receiver. Again, you're making me want to pick Seattle even more. I think I'd go Seattle, because they are hurting at wide receiver. They don't have Brandon Ayuk. They don't have Deebo Samuel. They've only got Juwan Jennings, who's their number 1, and George Kittle. So I think I'd go with Seattle now that Sage mentioned that. Bears could be a sneaky one. It does depend on what happens with Ben Johnson a bit. I do agree with you. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, if Ben Johnson can translate. We know he's a good play caller, but is he a good coach? That's what we're going to find out this year. And I do like having offensive guys as head coaches. I think it's the best way to do things. I think we'll get into it in a minute. We'll talk a bit more about Ben Johnson after. Yeah, the Bears can be a sneaky one. They could be good this year, or they could be the Bears. All right, so we have the Jets, basically. Now, I forget what the line was. I think they're projected to win, by 3? And the game is supposed to be, 37.5 or up over under for the points scored per game. So let's just start with, I guess, some of the additions that were made in the offseason. Do they do this in an easy way? So we got, for key departures, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams are gone. They lost some 2 old offensive linemen, Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith. They lost Hassan Reddick, who is I don't even know if he played with them much last year. They lost DJ Reed. They lost Chuck Clark. They lost Ashton Davis, another safety. They lost Javon Kinlaw. And they lost Solomon fucking Thomas. And then a couple specialists. Now, what did they draft this year? They did draft an offensive tackle, Armand Membu, in the first round. Mason Taylor, a tight end, in the second round. I believe they lost Ty Conklin, though. I don't think that was in the key departures. But Ty Conklin's gone. They drafted a corner, a wide receiver, and a safety in rounds 3 through 5, a linebacker, and a defensive end. They've got Justin Fields coming in. I'm not sure that this Justin Fields, Braylon Allen, and Bryce Hall, I don't think that's going to be enough here. I don't think they added enough. I think the Steelers are going to beat the ever-loved shit out of them. So obviously the Steelers have Aaron Rodgers coming in. Aaron Rodgers is very pissed off about what happened with the Jets. In my opinion, they flew him all the way out to fucking New York from California just to tell him he's not going to be the quarterback. They could have did that on the phone, basically. So we've kind of got... And the Steelers made moves. Now, they made some moves that are kind of like sideways trades. But I think if you're going to tell me Aaron Rodgers is worse than Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, I'm going to punch you right in the fucking throat. Because that's not the right information right there. They've upgraded. Aaron Rodgers looked great in the second half last year as he got further away from his Achilles injury. I think Aaron Rodgers had an okay year. His year was comparable to Patrick Mahomes. They didn't have an offensive line at all. Yeah, they had Devontae Adams. They had Garrett Wilson, who was okay. Had a few drops last year. Not much else. I think that this year is going to hinge on the offensive line for the Steelers, which we're going to get into very shortly. Now, big notable is basically we got DK Metcalf coming in for George Pickens. So that's a big thing there. Now, you got Najee Harris going, to San Diego. We saw him last night. And you got Caleb Johnson replacing him from the draft, basically. I don't know. What else do you got coming in? You got Jonnu Smith. So you got Jonnu Smith paired with Pat Freiermuth, as well as Darnell Washington as the third tight end. You've got... what else they had? They added that guy Jalen Ramsey, I think, didn't they? They added Jalen Ramsey, I think, to their secondary. They added Darius Slay. So their defense was already good. They added to their offense. I mean, the big question for me comes down to the Steelers starting line. Now, there's some question marks, but there is some upside. Broderick Jones, left tackle, he was a first-round pick not that long ago. Their left guard, Isaac Seumalo, I think he's kind of like an average player. He's like 32 years old, though. Zach Frazier was a second-round pick, not this past year, but the year before. Troy Fontenot, he was a high pick. He was playing good last year, got injured. And Mason McCormick, I think, was a young guy as well, who they'll have at right guard. So I think their offensive line has potential to do very well. Now, does it have depth when injuries come? Because they've got 4 guys that are all in like their second. I think Broderick Jones may be his third year, but I think he's still in his second year as well. Offensive line needs to keep Aaron Rodgers upright. Now, the Jets, they weren't very good on defense last year. I know they've got Aaron Glenn coming in from Detroit. I don't think that's going to make a big enough difference. There was too many guys from this team that basically, I don't know, man. They just weren't very good last year. They lost guys. I just don't see how they're going to get better. They lost fucking DJ Reed and other guys. I don't see the Jets being very good. I'm going to say the Jets are going to lose this game 24-13. That's the score that I see. For the season, though, the Steelers need their offensive line to play. I don't think it's going to be hard to beat the Jets. That's all we're looking for tomorrow's game. Now, give me a second here. I wish this AI mode would make things a little easier to fucking see. Now, you've got the Detroit Lions who they're going up against Green Bay, tough team. Green Bay is the youngest team in the league for the third year in a row. Somehow they got younger by trading for a veteran in Micah Parsons, but it did actually happen. Interesting. So let's just see like what was added. Like, do they have this in a way that's like easy to sort? Because like some of these guys are like, I don't know, man. Anyways, they lost fucking. I don't know if I'm gonna break all this down. I know they lost Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, so they lost two good fucking coordinators at the very least. Do I think that the next coordinators that they have are going to be close to as good? Probably not. Maybe on the defensive side, but certainly not on the offensive side. So I do see that the Detroit Lions are going to regress this year. They've got arguably the toughest schedule on the road this year. Some key guys they brought in this year. DJ Reed, speaking of the Jets. They brought in Derek Burns, Levi Zeke. I don't know how to say it. He's a defensive tackle. Tim Patrick, who gives a shit. Marcus Davenport, who gives a shit. Lost Carlton Davis, Zadarius Smith, Kevin Zeitler to the Tennessee Titans, actually. And there's some other departures. Now, did they draft well? I don't know. They got a defensive tackle in the first round. They added two guards that probably aren't going to start. They didn't have a fourth-round pick. We'll kind of see what happens, honestly. I think they are in line to take a big step back, though, and that's my opinion. I think both from a player standpoint as well as a coaching standpoint, they lost a lot. Now, did they sign Zadarius Smith the other day? Because I saw someone sign Zadarius Smith. The Philadelphia Eagles signed him. Yeah, because I said the Eagles' pass rush was looking like shit. So someone, leave it to the Philadelphia Eagles. They give no shit about character. Of course they'd sign Zadarius Smith. They have no idea what they're doing up there. Yeah. They have no idea. Like, they don't care about character. That's why they got guys like Jalen Carter up there. Now, we've already kind of talked about what the Packers have added. They didn't really lose much from last year. I think they're ascending. I really do think that for those of you out there saying, oh, Micah Parsons isn't going to play tomorrow, he's going to play tomorrow. J.J. Watt was talking about him the other day, and J.J. Watt talked about the year he had an epidural, and he went on to play. And he said, because there is footage of how Micah Parsons is playing in practice, and Micah Parsons, he said, there's no way his back is as bad as he's saying if he's practicing like that. So Micah Parsons, yeah, they might have him on a slight snap count, and the snap count is not because of injury necessarily. Maybe it's partly that, but they've got a game coming up Thursday against the Washington Redskins. So yeah, they might want to ease him in a bit because he didn't practice. He wasn't practicing. He wasn't getting his conditioning in. I'd say that's more significant than whatever this back injury is. Now, I look for the Packers to hammer the ball at the Lions. I look for the Lions to hammer the ball at us. This is going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a close game. I just feel like now, with our pass rush, we're going to force Jared Goff into doing things that aren't smart, which we didn't really have that ability last year. So I do think Jared Goff's going to throw one or two picks tomorrow. I think it's going to be a close game. It seems kind of like a 24-21. Someone might hit a walk-off field goal or something of that nature to win the game. But I want you guys to look out on the defensive side for Edger and Cooper tomorrow. I'm very interested to see how they're going to use Micah Parsons in conjunction with Edger and Cooper, because that's going to be a hell of a combo. So I do think the Packers will win 24-21 is my guess. Could be higher scoring. Could definitely be like a 30-27 game. But first game of the year, the Packers also have some question marks in terms of fucking wide receivers right now. They've got three guys that are questionable. Savion Williams, who probably will not practice, like he won't play regardless. The other guy there, Dontavian Wicks, questionable. You got Jaden Reed, questionable. So I mean, if all three of those guys are down, it's going to be interesting. But you got Baron Sorrell, who's questionable. He could play. Nate Hobbs, I think, will play. I think we'll be relatively healthy for the main players. Obviously not Christian Watts and that sort of thing. But I know Detroit's got some notable guys that are injured this year too. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a good game. The next one we got here, and that's why I actually wanted to bring up the injuries more than anything, is basically Baltimore against the fucking Ravens. Now, Ravens are on the road favored to win by -1.5, so they're going to win by 2 or more according to the odds makers. I think the reason why you have to favor the Ravens is because I think in like 80 or 88% of their packages, like fucking Buffalo plays nickel. I don't think that necessarily matches up very well against like a Derrick Henry type of a running back or the physicality that the Ravens bring from the running side. So I think they're going to have to play a bit less nickel if they want to win this game. I know in the playoffs it was different, it was cold, but I think playing nickel against Derrick Henry is a fucking dangerous thing. Now, there is some notable injuries for Baltimore. Their fullback is injured, their tight end, so fullback Patrick Richard, Isaiah Likely, tight end, is out as well. Adarius Washington, their safety, is out. Emory Jones is also out. So, I mean, I don't think that's anything that changes the game too much. Doesn't change the complexion a ton. For Buffalo, they got guys on the injured reserve, but really it's just their cornerbacks could be in trouble because Tre'Davious White's not playing, and their first-round draft pick, Maxwell Hairston, is on the injured reserve. So it kind of makes me think Baltimore will win this game. They'll be able to pass. They'll be able to run. Now, they did draft that Starks guy in the first round to go with Kyle Hamilton, so safety should be good, but that's for Baltimore anyway. I mean, I'm not really questioning Baltimore too much. Now, we do have to mention, just kind of as a joke, Jerry Alexander hasn't been practicing, so just as he was in Green Bay, I think he's out tomorrow. I don't think he'll be playing. Baltimore against the Buffalo Bills, Sage. That's our Sunday night football game. That's going to be a good game. For the first Sunday night football of the year, that's going to be a good game. But I do feel like Baltimore is going to win now that I look at those 2 injuries. Oh, did I say Baltimore versus the Ravens? No. The Ravens versus the Bills. Dear God, did I say that? That's a my bad right there. That's a my bad. I guess I'd be right one way or the other, though, right? Baltimore wins either way. 60% of the time, it works 100% of the time. But, yeah, Jerry Alexander's not practicing. So the guy that everyone's bitching about us getting rid of in the offseason, who only played half of the amount of games in 4 years, is now not going to be playing with fucking Baltimore, too. It's just unbelievable. Great talent, but he just never fucking plays. And I don't think that factors into Baltimore losing, but you're gonna see Baltimore get carved up too a bit. Their secondary was terrible last year. They were terrible against stop in the pass. They were 31st in the league. So I look for this to be a shootout. I don't know, 34-31. Fuck, could be fucking even more than that. Could be a 45-38. I don't know. It's gonna be a shootout though. This will not be a game where both teams are in the 20s. At least one team will be above 30, and the other team will be at least close to 30, in my opinion. So I see like 27 as the floor for the losing team for points scored. All right, Sage, it's time for you to get your rest. It's time for me to have a couple Steve Weisers and think about playing Valheim early in the morning tomorrow, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. If I'm going to be there, you better be there, Sage. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. And then we watch football all day, and then we talk shop to end the day. It's going to be a good day tomorrow. All right, have a good night, guys. We'll be back at her tomorrow. You'd better, Sage. You fucking better. All right, see you tomorrow.